And we're going to go in 3, 2, 1, and hello! Hi! Welcome to G3, otherwise known as the Gilmore Girls Gang. Little known fact. Okay. We're the ladies who talk tech and then some, which means, geez, if something else excites us, we talk about that too. Today is August 6th, 2015. This is episode number 51. Last week I said it was 40. I was totally off base. Whew. It was 50. Now we're on 51. So this is episode number 51. Again, welcome. And today I'd like to introduce you to my co-hosts. In my upper left, there's the lovely Rebecca Woodcock. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Tina.
Coming to us from San Francisco. Last we left you, you were about to have a kiteboarding weekend with competition and excitement. We'll get to hear about that, I hope. Okay. Hello from Boston, Hallie Sue Tucker. Hi, Hallie.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How's the weather there?
It's really beautiful for once. We had 2 weeks of really, really hot, humid, and now gorgeous.
Wow. Well, that's, 2 weeks out of the year. Okay. So
no snow.
My lower right is the lovely Francine Hardaway. Hello, Francine.
From Phoenix, Arizona. We now have Hallie's hot and humid.
Ah.
It went there. It went over there.
It went there.
It went west. Right.
Okay. So, ladies, I'm always kind of feeling like the summer, sort of nothing's happening, but I don't know. I was looking at, some of the tech news and just, perusing over some articles. And what I was getting the feeling of is, again, live video, more about podcasting, more about streaming live, Facebook, going live with a new product for some people. So what are your thoughts? That's what I'm thinking is going on. What do you think is going on?
Well, what I think is going on about video is that Facebook turned it on for celebrities because people actually want to hear what celebrities have to say. I've been on Periscope and Meerkat and experimenting with live video since practically it was possible to do so. And I found that I have nothing of interest to say on live video and that I might as well stop streaming because I think I mentioned it on this show a few episodes back. I was streaming my dog walks and I finally got embarrassed because I was like, who the hell wants to watch this? Mm-hmm. So maybe the celebrities have more that's worth seeing. And if everybody's live stream everybody's newsfeed got full of live stream videos, how fast would we log out of Facebook?
Yeah. Hallie?
So that's interesting. Oh. Go ahead.
Well, I was just quickly going to say, it seems a bit like everybody's trying to take over everybody else's medium. Like they're trying to be TV, podcasts are being radio, everything's very messy. So what was Rebecca saying? I interrupted her.
Well,
Rebecca?
So it's interesting. This week we had a couple of new launches, not just Facebook, but also Line, which is a popular social networking app in other countries, very popular. They launched V, which is exactly the same as Facebook, streaming for celebrities. And then there's another one called Blab, which is sort of like a group video chat that, maybe 4 people could jump online and other people can watch their conversation. So
you mean Hangouts?
Yeah, exactly. Hangouts, but called Blab, but other people can come and view it. So, but I think the celebrity angle is a good launch strategy because if you look at people like Kim Kardashian, who has millions and millions of followers on Instagram and Twitter and whatnot, how do you attract the most users in the shortest amount of time?
Oh, so yeah.
You get the people who have the huge audience, right? And
they're
who
stupid
cares if they have
people.
any? Well, yeah, but who
These
cares if they
celebrity
have?
people, they're stupid people, and tech is usually attracting smart people, solving problems. And so why do they want stupid people?
I think
Solving problems.
live
all
video
about-
is going to.
It's all about eyeballs. It does not matter. And if you want to scale fast, you get the eyeballs as fast as you can. Because
Eyeballs.
honestly, it's harder to attract.
I hate eyeballs. Sorry. But you're right, because everybody's got this pressure to get an audience. And it is easier to get an audience with celebrities, but it's so thin. It's like fast food. It's like junk food. And then where does it go? I mean,
it's total
give me a
junk
celebrity
food.
at least that could sing a song or dance or something. But now we have all these non-talented celebrities.
Well,
they literally can do nothing.
I agree.
So
This
we've
is
got
all
this.
driven by ads.
But I think that's going to
totally all
change.
driven
Whoa.
by
Hey.
advertising.
Say that again. Say that again,
It's
Francine.
totally all driven by advertising. All advertising wants to be video advertising.
Yes.
And there's supposedly a shortage of supply of video for advertisers.
Yeah.
So what people are trying to do is create video
Commercial,
that advertisers can play against so that they can monetize.
it's true.
Yeah, we have the huge problem with video is that the discoverability factor is really difficult,
Right.
and to me the only way that we're sharing it is sharing it through social media, but it's it's hard to find. It's hard to
Search.
sometimes pinpoint. You want to get right to maybe a quote, a little short piece.
Yep.
Like, hey, we do an hour show here, and sometimes maybe somebody would like to come right to a little segment of it. It's hard to do, quite honestly.
Yep. But I think it's weird is that here we have the internet. It was full of promise of brand new, exciting, incredible things never done before, and it's turning into TV and radio. Like,
and that's why
Back to the Future, Back to the
That's why I
Past.
think it's just going to find its place. I think there's a lot of excitement around video. There's a lot of excitement around ad-supported video. Consumers who are, what all this is made for anyway, audiences are going to find that there's only so much video you can watch in a day and only so much video that you want to watch.
Okay.
And once they surf it on video, it'll be just like display ads. It will work.
But
and
isn't
once
it?
doesn't work.
There's only so yes. There's only so much video you can watch today, but there's actually only so much you can do in a day, whatever it is. Whether it's reading, whether it's listening, whether it's watching, it's time. Let's face it. If you're spending it watching video, it's not that different than spending it listening or reading. You have. I mean, maybe people will say that with audio you can kind of listen and kind of do something else. I don't know. It depends how intense the listening is.
Well, I think that's
yes,
right.
And as you see, Hallie can multitask right now.
Well, but
I'm sorry.
Well,
Were you talking?
honestly, I think this whole live streaming thing is such a fad that everybody is jumping on board because everybody's talking about it. Honestly, I signed up for Periscope finally last week because I thought, okay, there must be something there. And
because of the kiteboarding, I bet.
Well, no. But there was so much crap on there and people with nothing to say, nothing interesting. And I thought, there is no way this is going to attract a large audience. So it has to change. It's definitely not going to be
Periscope also, is it Periscope or Meerkat also created a new feature where you can just sort of put it on auto stream and just watch it all day long with I think just an auto fed stream. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe people who like to have, I used to be one of those people who, I'd be doing busy work in the house and I'd throw the TV on and sort of whatever it landed on, would go to the next program, and it would kind of be in the background.
Yeah,
Maybe,
but that's what I do now with
But how
podcasts.
useful is that?
Well, it's very useful because I'm on podcasts all the time, but I don't look at them as video. Yeah, I do exactly what you said, Tina. I pay selective attention. I run a bunch of podcasts if I'm, cooking, God forbid, or, some other some other things that I have to do that I consider mindless tasks.
Well,
And
but
and
now
that's
you
when I
realize that
learned what
means it's
happened.
always secondary.
But
That
that's
you're kind of giving it, you're not giving it very much attention. So what it's trying to be is, I don't know, it's this exactly what you said, that it's got this difficult to search, hard to find where the thing you want is, hard to know, is this episode worth watching? Then you're kind of half listening and the Roomba is cleaning up your room and you miss something. And then, I mean, it's like,
But
it's
hang on, video is totally compelling. So
not at all.
Not at all.
When I take not all video,
Not all video, sure.
compelling. Okay, once again, and this is probably TMI, I run a bath. I get in the bathtub, and while I'm taking a bath, I might be watching This Week in Tech, or This Week in Google, or any one of the other video podcasts that I subscribe to. But am I really looking at them? I'm not really looking at them. Mostly I'm listening to them, and I'm not even really listening to them that much. They become, if you leave them on in the background, they're exactly like cable news. They function in my life like cable news used to, but they're way more fascinating than cable news. But they function like,
it's like throwing CNN on it all day long.
Exactly.
Or Bloomberg News or something.
If something compelling comes up, I'll stop and listen. Otherwise, I'm in continuous partial attention mode.
Rebecca's got her disagree face on.
Well, so when it comes to, I agree, actually. I think there are different types of video content, some more compelling than others, and some that you just can listen to without paying that much attention to. When it comes to these new mobile streaming, live streaming apps, I think it's going to evolve into more of how news channels or TV channels or celebrities or artists start to use YouTube, and with snackable, biteable content that will probably autoplay. And I think that's just has to be how these streaming services evolve if they're going to actually be interesting and monetize it all. It's just going to be mobile, I guess.
I've been watching what
I had one quick question for you guys. Actually, it's a two-part question. Two.
Yep.
Part one is, you all maybe saw that Kara Swisher is now doing Recode Decode. She's had 4 kind of cool guests on. One, it's only audio, not video. What do you think about that? And 2,
that's what I think about it.
The second
That's Francine, and she's about to. That's Francine's dog, and she's about to get the dog out of the house.
It kind of sounded like a dinosaur. Okay, I was a little nervous. Okay, so wait. The second part is, are we also at a place where, we now have high-tech celebrities. So when you see who she's interviewing, it's cool, Mr. and Ms. X. Are we creating also a celebrity of sort of brainiacs that, like, wow, you want to hear so-and-so, so you tune into the podcast? Those are my questions.
Yes. First of all, I listen to that podcast. I really like it a lot because I think Kara's a great reporter. I think she has tremendous access to the people that she interviews. And the only thing the only reason I think she does audio, first of all, I don't think it matters that she does audio rather than video. And second, I think she doesn't want to pay the makeup tax. I mean, it takes me 30 minutes to wake up my face for this podcast.
I disagree. I have my disagree face on. I actually think they are going to do a YouTube video. They've already filmed one in a very, they have actually a rather sophisticated filming crew, it seems. Okay. They've posted it on YouTube. Yep, it's on YouTube.
Which one is on video?
It's one from 3 weeks ago. What's his name? The Slack co-founder or founder.
Stuart Butterfield.
That's it. Yeah. Sorry, I drew a blank. That one's
That wasn't
on
one
YouTube.
from one of their conferences.
No, it's their
is that
Read
it?
the Decode actual podcast that they filmed. You should go look at it. I posted it actually in our Facebook chat. But they probably are just working out the kinks with their video. And honestly, any podcast I see nowadays also has a YouTube channel associated with it,
Right.
even if they're not
Should
filming
we have
it.
a
They
YouTube
post
channel?
it on YouTube. Even if they put just an image and you just listen to the sound like
Right.
you do, Francine, all the time. You don't even need to.
That's because the audience is on YouTube, right?
There's
There's
it's
a big
another-
audience on it.
Just yeah, it's another
Where's our
distribution
YouTube channel, Tina?
We actually have one. We haven't been keeping. We haven't been keeping it up. You know, it's another layer of work. Okay.
So you
And,
say, Francine, do you want to run that for us?
But
I'm
hey,
a volunteer.
if you think that a YouTube channel is important, we'll get it. All right.
The
Well,
audience is on YouTube.
we'll revive ours. How about that?
And speaking of Francine's makeup, I was doing some research and writing for some other people about YouTube and about advertising. And one of the biggest, we should do a makeup video for YouTube. It's the biggest thing.
Oh,
and I watched.
I think
you know
we can find a friend of ours, Chris Sod's girlfriend, has a YouTube channel. She's got a beauty channel.
Oh my God! It's
let's get her on as a guest.
Yeah.
She's doing it. I love it. So
Let's have her redo
listen.
it.
But I watched a video. This woman doing her makeup. It was so detailed and so complicated. You think it takes you a while. This woman, and then she did this incredible amount of stuff on a day. It was very hot and muggy here, and she's like, "Oh, this is the perfect summer look. It's the perfect summer look for air conditioning. I would never go to the beach or outside with it." Like, what do you do in the summer?
My daughter knows all those channels. She's
God,
she's
very
like
popular.
a makeup expert whiz. You ask her anything, she'll tell you what to do. And she's never asked me how to apply anything. You know, she's never asked me one question about makeup. She's gone to YouTube first. I understand. I understand why.
I only look at those things when I'm researching a costume for Halloween, and that's actually I don't know if there's some amazing things out there.
They're amazing.
Yeah. Anyone
Well,
who saw my Avatar costume a few years ago knows how amazing it was, and I learned how to do that on YouTube.
We'd like to see a picture of that. Dig a picture out right now.
Okay, well, it's somewhere on my Facebook. Let me
post it later. But it's very, very popular, this stuff. It's incredible. And you hit the other important part is if you're doing the right thing, you're doing mobile content. This is mobile. And actually, I also had to research all the numbers on who's going to drive mobile content. And as we know from the 2010 census, and the fact that, for instance, the Hispanic market is unbelievably big with mobile and with video. And a lot of this content is going to be multicultural. And it's very interesting what's going on out there and how a lot of homes that never had internet access and maybe not landline are going completely mobile on all their stuff, and all their data is coming through that, and YouTube is absolutely essential.
Well, I just did a blog post for Zito on the fact that the smartphone industry in India is growing at a compound annual growth rate of 26% a year. And it's mostly all driven by young people. And young people are the population of most countries outside. The only old people are in the U.S. and Europe. Everyone else is young. And they're all into mobile video, and they'll never have computers. They will just go straight to smartphones, and they'll be watching video on their smartphones. And this is what advertisers and brands already know, and why they're doing this video stuff, and why they're desperately doing so much mobile. It has shifted. I've been working with Zito for 4 years. It has shifted in the last year and a half.
Like crazy, right?
totally to mobile and
Yeah.
totally to video so fast that it's caught everybody off guard.
You know who's got, you must have seen a lot of the Pew Research. Pew has like a page that's Hispanics. And what's really been interesting, the piece I was writing was about how the agencies lagged behind all this knowledge because, oh yeah, we still think it's Mad Men time. The ad agencies were all white and male. And then who's driving this? These new agencies in places like where? Arizona,
Right.
Miami, LA, this new
Places where we have Mexicans. And
Thank
so
you. All of this starts,
understand
and they're
it.
doing campaigns. Then they start getting big brands doing big campaigns with them that are not the multicultural campaign. They're all campaigns. And suddenly the big ad agencies are like freaking out, going, how do we do this? And then suddenly they're like, oh, maybe we should hire some
No, what they do is
people of color.
No, they don't do that. They acquire a Hispanic agency.
The agency.
That, just like they acquired a digital agency. And
Yeah,
that's what
but
they're going to do.
You know there are problems with that because it's a very different culture, and a lot of these cooler, smaller, multicultural agencies, I mean, they are not easily integrated with a big agency mentality. And it's really interesting. I was just reading it like, wow, you know, and they literally are going, the stats as you were talking about, of for instance, the big agencies think, oh, we have to do Hispanic. We better do it all in Spanish. Duh, no, you're dumb. You missed that. That was 2010. You now have a more typical Spanish Hispanic family has boomers that are Hispanic that speak Spanish who came here maybe, you know, from many of 23 Spanish-speaking countries, islands and places. Then the next group you have, they might have kids in the same house, and those kids are working, and they probably don't necessarily speak Spanish, and they may even have children then, millennials,
that don't even know Spanish.
They speak no Spanish, and if you
don't even know Spanish. But
right,
they
and
still
if
have
you use advertising with Spanish towards them, they think you're an idiot, and they don't listen. And many of those kids are multiracial, mixed black and Spanish and everything. So,
but the culture is still there, and that's why it's a different sort of marketing. You know, like we face this issue, obviously, in Arizona, and we always have, but I guess my comment on the macro level about the agency business is it's going away. Those large agencies are all in trouble. I don't know whether, you know, you were ever a publisher trying to get paid by an agency.
Luckily, no.
It's very hard because they're managing cash very carefully because they're losing business at an alarming rate. And the brands are taking it in-house because if all it is programmatic media buying, you know, and shunting the same creative around to different channels, we can build that platform and do it in-house, and a lot of them are.
Well,
and
as of this year, in the state of California, the Hispanic Latin population has officially become the largest population, surpassing any other group. And so that occurred this year, and that's definitely speaking to a lot of not only ad agencies, advertisers, but politicians actually too, and how they position
and that
themselves
is
here.
Called, what they keep calling it in the stuff I was reading, is the minority majority. When you add the minorities together, not just Hispanic, but the other, you have a majority. And the country, I think it's 2046, will be a majority of minorities, all states. Right now, Arizona is one state already there. California, like you say, is already there.
We're 30% Hispanic.
Right. And then the ad agencies have some lingo, and their lingo is, they call it the total market agency, is one that can handle multicultural and everything else. Now, again, if you're there's some cool agency that's, I think it's called Latin Works, that's in Austin. They just did a piece on this in PBS. I'll put it up on our site. And, you know, they're doing amazing business for all those generations in one Hispanic household. They know, they've been doing this since the year 2000. So many people are so late to this that I can't even imagine how the big agencies and the small work together.
Well, it's going to be very interesting because in tech, we have very little diversity, not that many women, but also not that many Hispanics or
anyone
blacks.
of color.
And yet, you know, all of the tech industry is facing either business or consumer, and they're going to have to be marketing to people who are of these constituencies.
And they are going to drive what happens on mobile. And so
Exactly.
it really is going to be like this, how are we going to do this? Because you have no diversity working with people that are in markets, all diverse markets are driving tech.
Going back to the mobile angle, at least in Latin America, you know, WhatsApp is eating the lunch of all the telcos. So I don't know if you've seen what the reaction of the telcos just recently are. We have T-Mobile in the last couple of weeks who have announced that there is no data roaming at all from Mexico, US to Canada now. And Telcel, which is, you know, Carlos Slim's big company in Mexico, the telco company, they announced the same thing. So now there are no boundaries.
So you're going to not be able to use WhatsApp?
No, what they're saying is, okay, we're not doing roaming fees anymore. If you travel from Mexico to the US, Canada, it's gonna be like you're in the same country.
Seamless.
And so seamless, yes. And yeah, sure, you have to pay an extra $3 for that service. But it's because they're losing so much volume on text, on even phone calls, because as I mentioned before, you know, my guy and I, we always use Facebook to call each other now. It's not going through the telcos. And if you're in Mexico,
to call my daughter. My daughter's in London, and I use FaceTime to call my daughter in London. We never use a phone.
Exactly.
Or telco, you know.
So now,
so this is another further blurring of borders.
Well, yeah, it's moving really fast, right? Wasn't that shocking, Francine? I mean, you, like you said, over 4 years, and you know, because you're in back and forth in Mexico and out, right? You know, Rebecca, it's like it's pretty incredible, and I have a lot of friends outside of the country, and you see what they do and what they use, and it's just, you really realize like we
could miss WhatsApp, FaceTime, and Skype.
The telcos are panicking right now, and I don't know if you just saw what Fire Chat. Remember Fire Chat with they daisy chain all these devices together,
right?
Using Bluetooth and wireless. They basically announced saying, yeah, we plan, they announced it this week that they plan on becoming a telco that is going to be completely free for everyone. But you know what? They don't have to build any infrastructure like the telcos to make it happen, because it's all using our own devices to create the network, and it will be entirely built on software, and that is huge. And
it is. It's amazing, and it's not like if you looked at the 2000 census and you looked at the 2010 census, it's all there that this country was going that way. So when you think like, what were they doing? And it's an interesting business, you know, liability to be lacking in diversity can kill you in the marketplace. So, you know, we talk about they don't have enough women, they don't have enough people of color. Guess how bad it could be to be that way? It's really not good. You know, you miss
guess what?
the
Beyond
trend.
the diversity problem, I think it's bad to be a telco, period. No matter how diverse you are, voice data over...
Everybody hates you.
What?
Everybody wants to replace you.
Right.
Your customers are constantly complaining.
Exactly.
Your service is terrible. And everybody, it's so competitive, you constantly have to upgrade your systems, and it's hugely expensive. It would be really terrible to be a telco these days. But
I would
be interested to see if Fire Chat gets that done, because that's going to have an impact on Google.
Mm-hmm.
Google wanted to do that. Google wanted to do a mesh network, and Google wanted to do that with Google Fiber. and Hangouts. I mean, Google has missed such a huge opportunity because they were in this space with this technology
Right.
years ago, and they did not, figure it out how to really use the technology they had.
Google's becoming the missed opportunity company,
Well,
or one of them.
any company with too many white men and not enough diversity, they're at risk.
Although they
Well-
have more diversity than most, actually. They have a
There-
lot more. They have a lot more diversity. You can actually, when you walk into the Googleplex, you can actually see diversity. And that's really almost not true of any tech company I visited in the Bay Area.
Well, they're about to miss another opportunity if they don't acquire Twitter real fast, because they need something in the social area, and Twitter has a lot of data, and they may never have a better opportunity than right now.
How would that be for Twitter?
I don't know. That would probably suck.
You think
for
it would be a
Twitter,
good
but
marriage?
If they left it alone, it would be okay.
I
But
think so too.
I think it was Ben Thompson or somebody I really respect. Help me out on this. Wrote a post about why it was unnecessary for Google to acquire Twitter. You might, somebody Google it.
I mean, look, I thought I had read something like that too.
Somebody Google it.
And it's because they already have the ads. They already serve the ads, and they already have Twitter coming up in their search results. So they basically have what they need from Twitter, and they don't need to mess with an integration. I have got to find that article.
Well, I'm looking at one 2 days ago. You know how somebody writes something good and then 10 people copy it? I don't want to say it's a copy, but one piece I see is from Business Insider, why Google is unlikely to buy Twitter. And then another piece I see is Twitter may be a takeover target, but Google is unlikely to take it over 2 days later by Recode. So I'm going to put that on our page.
Yeah, I think the Recode article is the one that I read.
Yeah, I think that's
This
the
is
one
the
you're talking about,
basic
Francine.
version. And the quote says that at some point it is
Who
just
wrote
simple
that one?
math that Google grabs it, says one person. Why they haven't is yet a mystery. Blah, 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 blah. What else? And then Google already has everything it needs from Twitter. Earlier this year, the search giant inked 2 deals with the smaller company. The first brought tweets into search results, another step in Google's push to remake search. The second brought Twitter ads into Google's massive ad server.
Google has what it needs from Twitter except for the social part. I mean, what is Google doing in social that's working?
Not
Absolutely.
Google Plus. Do we?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, they basically have dismantled Google Plus. It's really interesting because we've had another one of those situations where a social network that may not have been successful in everybody's terms has been dismantled, and all of its users were never asked. They were never like, nobody said to them, wait, do you want us to continue this network? There were
that's
tons of people
Google
there having
style.
great discussions.
Google never asks if you want to continue. They just that's always their MO. If they decide to discontinue something, then they just do that. End of story.
Google Reader. I was a loyal user of Google Reader.
Google Wave, Google Health, Google Reader, Google.
Right.
I mean, there's a whole list of dead Google properties that just get shut down. And I mean, they've never been a customer service type of company, so why would they care?
Yeah. I think if Twitter were acquired by Google and they let it run independently, that would be a nice, safe haven for Twitter. But I also think that what's really necessary for Twitter to get more users is to have some product updates, and I think they're starting to do that.
How do you think Google has handled YouTube?
Oh my God, that's a conversation stopper right there.
Everybody goes, I'll say.
It was.
I don't feel like they've done enough. I don't think they've handled it. I don't know if they know what to do with it. I feel like the creativity and interesting things that happen on YouTube is driven by users.
Well, but see, that's why they left it alone. And one thing they did try to do was change the comment thing and make the comments part of Google Plus. And the users freaked out because, of course, Google comments are notoriously trollish, you know,
Right.
I mean, YouTube comments. And so everybody was furious that somehow they would be, you know, like Reddit, you know.
I actually think that YouTube is one of Google's successes, and the fact that we don't really notice a lot of change is sort of probably attributed to that they haven't done. I mean, they've done stuff to it, but it hasn't been so disruptive. I mean, they've integrated a lot of different little things that are related to advertising, which is their core. But the fact that we didn't notice it that much, or we noticed it at first, is actually a sign of their success with it. Because we all still use it. It's still massively, it attracts a ton of viewers daily and posts. It has huge distribution.
Searchable?
Tricky.
I'm not the one to ask about that.
You know,
but
that is the next big thing. And I don't know why. It's like it was the 1994 next big thing to be able to search terms or keywords in a video without a transcript, but somehow. And even to search, you need a picture of two lambs running across a green field, you know, to have it be useful in terms of finding visual material. Nobody's done that. I know it's hard to do.
That's where I was hoping Google was going to go, and quickly with that.
But it hasn't even gone to being able to search accurately for the videos that you want. I don't know about you, but when I search for video, I very often get things that have absolutely nothing to do with what I'm searching for.
That's true, and it's largely left up to the video creator to put the right search terms in. But what I would say, what I would say about it is you can actually do auto. They do have an auto transcript function, which maybe they don't publicize enough, but it has become an incredible advertising and lead platform for even the video creators. So even if you're not the advertiser, you can put annotations and links and promote other things related to your content. And it actually generates a lot of leads and volume for businesses, which then motivates people to create more content for YouTube because it works well for them.
And all research shows that the research, when you see the longevity of it and the impact of all social media lined up, Twitter, Facebook, and it's like a bar graph, and YouTube is like, woo! It really has staying power, longevity, legs, as they say in Hollywood, and it has a lot of impact. And certainly, like we've started, it's the best for putting ads in, around, through. I don't know. I hate the way all the ads are. I skip ad. I go click, 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 click until it skips, you know. I turn all the audio off and skip everything.
But those ads are called non-skippable pre-roll, and they have very high completion rates for the people who place them, which is why they're there, because you absolutely have to watch them in order to see what you want.
How can you not complete them? You have to. The only thing you could do is just leave before they're done.
I don't look. I turn the sound off. You know.
Exactly. But Facebook is on YouTube's ass for being the place to put video. Facebook has launched all these tools that make it easier to have your video hosted on Facebook rather than on YouTube. And in fact, you know, if I look at the company that's doing the most innovating right now, it's really not Amazon, it's really not Apple, it's certainly not Google, it's Facebook. They are really trying to, and I don't know if I'm saying this, you know, in a good way or a bad way, but they're trying to take over the world. And they keep building features that make it easier for both users and advertisers. And the video hosting thing is putting a dent in YouTube.
It's definitely true.
You know, so...
Didn't you see Rebecca's face?
the way that
You're like-
Facebook handles
Do you
advertising.
hate Facebook, Rebecca?
I don't hate them. I just disagree that they're innovating enough to claim that most innovative companies bought. I mean, sure, yeah, they're doing a couple of things, but they're launching live stream after it's already come out. And honestly, I don't think that the user experience is improving by leaps and bounds. I mean, yeah, they're putting in little features here and there.
Well, what
And
they're
I think
doing is
generally it
building-
works and they're doing a good job, but I don't know.
You know,
I'm not
They're
that
making
wowed
not
by
ever have to leave Facebook. I feel like Scoble when I say all this.
I actually think that a lot of the innovation that they're doing has been pissing me off lately because they're suppressing more things. They're making it harder for you to, as even a brand, you know, if you want to build a
Right.
Facebook page, like they're giving me less and less reasons to do it because they're making it harder and harder for me to reach my audience. And I actually think that I'm not impressed with the innovation.
They want
I think
you to
it's driven
pay.
by they want you to pay, but why would I pay if I get all these other, you know, why would I pay for things that should be a little bit more accessible?
I'm not saying I don't agree. I don't think brand pages should necessarily be more accessible. I actually think that they should almost get rid of brand pages and let people who want to advertise pay, and let the rest of us not get
Not
this
pay.
stuff in our feeds, you know, from brands that we maybe don't want. So
If you
I'm
don't
facing
want
the
them,
wrong way to talk to you, Rebecca. I can't figure out how to do it.
if you're
There you go.
Thank you much.
I switched it.
Okay.
if you
I
don't
switched.
want something from a brand, then don't like their page. I mean, it's completely opposite of what they've been telling, you know, us to care about. Like, oh, you need huge followings and getting people to like your brand. Oh, now
They
it's all about
switched
paid
it.
advertising. Well, why did I work so hard if it just comes down to paid advertising? I wouldn't do all this work to get all these fans if I could just buy them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Just make it that.
It would, you know, it would
They
make me.
switched their
It would
policy on
It
that.
would make me so happy if Facebook would allow the user to determine how much they want to hear each channel, if you will, whether that be a person or a page. If
But they do.
That's
They-
a, they
no,
do,
they
and
don't.
that's a lot
No,
of work.
they allow you to tune it up or tune it down, but they don't. If let's say we've got a viewer, a G3 viewer, who always wants to know if we post something. Like, let's just say they just want to make sure that's always in their feed. They can't do
And
that.
they can't.
They cannot
Yeah.
do that, and
They
that's what
can't.
I would
No,
like.
they can't do it for a page. They can do it for a person because my feeds are tuned for people by putting
Yeah.
them in see first. So you know,
Right.
if you've posted, any
Right.
of you have posted something, I see it because you're in my see first.
But
Right.
pages, it's impossible. And the other
Right.
thing, and then with pages, you can't, you know, you're not socializing with your viewership or your audience like you are in regular
They need to
Facebook,
get back something
individual
like
Facebook.
communities, because they used to have communities and those were different from brand pages. I think brands should pay, to be honest. And I don't mind that Facebook has tuned down the stuff we get from brands. Otherwise your feed, because there was a time when your feed was full of brand advertising from
I had a
marketers.
quick thing I wanted to ask you guys about, and I think it's interesting how things change in tech and you don't even stop and think, but we really have this duopoly. Don't you spend your time not on the net, not in any broad way, but either on Facebook or Twitter? I mean, or maybe something else, Tumblr or whatever, add something in there. But when you think what's happened in 10 years or 5 practically, that we don't actually have an open net. We have these products we use, and they are silos, and you know, and we've all walked right into that, and
that
it's
is a
confusing.
huge problem, and you're right. I mean,
It
it has nothing to do with what you see in your feed or not. This is
Right,
the much
it's-
bigger problem that Dave Weiner talks about all the time, that we're losing the open internet because
Absolutely.
people
'Cause
like
it's-
Twitter and Facebook have made it so easy to get all our news from them and all our, social connections from them that we never go anywhere else. And that is, once again, throwing the publishing industry into a frenzy because
That's for sure. It's a
But
mess,
it-
and it's almost as if we have no memory of what it was like to what the web was, and even the idea early, you had your own blog, and it had some ability to attract a crowd, and you wrote what you thought, and people respected it and went to look at it. People went to it. Now we're all like, how can we get it, promoted and sent to anybody? And it's gone really way far away from where it was. And then I think
we're going to where the audience already is. I know that I've done that. I don't think I've posted anything to my blog in 6 months because I'm posting everything to Medium and Facebook. And it's just a question of which I do first.
Well, while there are these silos, and while Facebook certainly is one of them, Facebook has also been this huge open door for people who honestly would otherwise not even be on the internet.
Yes.
I mean, really honestly.
Right.
This is their portal, if you will, going back to an old word.
You've seen the numbers
to the net. And that's how they explore the net, is through Facebook. They find a link. They don't do it otherwise.
You've seen the numbers they added recently. A real big push is happening in India. Have you noticed?
Yes.
A lot of followers. I'm seeing a lot of followers from India and
Pakistan. Actually, what they added was Pakistan.
Wasn't there some sort of, Francine, wasn't there some sort of interesting thing that happened when, did Scoble go to Pakistan or something, and then there was a billboard?
Yes, that said Scoble,
and then
he didn't go to Pakistan. There was a billboard that said, Robert Scoble, come to Pakistan. So and that of course went around and became almost a meme. And as a comment to that, I wrote, I've always wanted to go to Pakistan, which is true. I love India. And so I would love to go to Pakistan. I just want someone to invite me to give a talk or something like that. So I've got an excuse to go. Well, since I put that up, I am getting Pakistani followers by the,
crazy, right?
Right, exactly. So
I ended up putting up one little comment on a thing. I'm just so clueless half the time. It was Mark Zuckerberg comment about India. And I thought, I'll just make a little comment because I know a lot of Indians and I wanted to see something nice about, that's great, welcome. It was the first comment. I didn't realize. So suddenly I'm getting all these things and I'm like, whoa, what happened there? Exactly. So, but you guys still here?
Yes.
You don't want to talk about Netflix unlimited maternity leave?
Okay, Hallie, go for it.
Binge maternity?
Hallie, give us Netflix maternity leave. Go ahead.
Well, they are brilliant. I mean, first of all, could I please take the hat I don't have on off to Netflix managing over, they were in the toilet about 5 times as not just a tiny startup, but a big company.
Right.
This company, the history of this company is killer to me. It's incredible. And they always pull their ass out of the fire at the last minute. I don't know how. But there should be a movie about that. Binge, like a series. But anyway, so last week they announced that they are doing all you can eat. Shut up.
Well, it's the perfect name because that's what you do on Netflix, right? You binge the entire season.
Right.
And then...
Yeah, it's like all you can eat, all you can have, a year maternal and paternal leave paid. Are they trying to get rid of Sweden and Norway? What are they doing? They're incredible. And so actually I'm bringing it up to talk about that, but also I see a trend. I'm seeing a lot of jobs where they're starting to give benefits to people that are like, you too could be a human. You could have a little time off. You could be in a startup and not live like a robot. So what's going on in there? You're the Silicon Valley girls. What's going on?
I still haven't heard the benefit.
The benefit is what the benefit Netflix is giving, or why
Yeah.
they're doing it, Tina?
The benefit that they're giving. Let's
Oh,
be clear about
they're
it.
giving maternity unlimited maternity leave, and I'm going to say something like 5 months of paternity leave to
It's a
people who
year.
have children. And one of the reasons is that they lose employees because people want to have children and they want to be with their children, and so they basically drop out. And they're finding that they can't have a diversity initiative, but they can't even get men anymore, to come to work if they want to have children. And their reasoning is that they have very high performing employees and that they should treat those employees like adults and allow them to have a life so that they will stay with the company.
Like
and
parents?
I think there's
Yeah.
I think
Well,
there's a lot
actually,
of merit in that, but I also think that high performing employees, the sort of the other side of that, high performing employees who really care about their jobs probably won't take all that leave because they're afraid they'll get the rating of average, not exceptional. And if you have an average employee, that employee gets a severance package in
Jesus.
Netflix.
But
Well,
I hope that's not true. But it's 1
It
year.
is true. It's in the thing Reed wrote. It's in the new book.
Well, what I'm saying is, it is written here. I'm going to post this on our page that it's a 1 year. Parents can return
Per
part-time,
child?
full-time, go out and in as they want. We keep paying them normally, eliminating the headache of switching between state or disability pay, so they get full pay. And it's for moms and dads, and it's 1 year.
1 year per child? Or 1 year per employee spread out over 10 children?
No, for any given birth or adoption.
So per child.
Yeah, I
child.
think.
So you can
I
take
don't
a
know. Don't ask me
maternity.
about twins.
So if I understand this correctly, you can take a maternity leave if you're a Netflix employee for up to a year
Yes.
without
During that year,
losing
you
your
can get
job, without
printed
being
again and
penalized.
Have another child. No, just kidding.
Paid paid leave.
paid.
Paid, Tina, paid.
You know how good this is compared to what other people in any company are given.
It's amazing.
Okay,
but
what I
again,
want to know is
think-
how. Hang on. I want to know how long you have to work for Netflix until you get this benefit.
Oh, what?
Day
you
one?
are going to know because I'm posting it on our G3 page right now, okay?
Now,
But the downside of it is, or the other side of it is, that Netflix's goal in doing this is only to have exceptional employees. And Reed Hastings has written that if somebody is only average this is a new book he's written called Alliance, and that's why all this stuff has come out. But the thing is that if you are known at Netflix as only an average employee, he said, we only want A players. And if someone is a B player, we give them a generous severance package and let them go.
Oh,
So,
that's bullshit.
let's
Because
just say
here's
you
why I'll
work
tell
for
you it's
Net-
bullshit. Because it's hard to hire now. If you're not an A player, but you happen to be like an iOS or Android programmer, believe me, they're going to cut you some slack. Come on. I mean, he can write whatever. They all write these fucking business books. I wrote the books. I wrote half these books for May They Remain Nameless, fancy Harvard professors and other business people. But they have to say this shit. But so I'm only a little bit skeptical. A little.
Well, I don't know. I tend to think one of two things will happen. Either people won't take the whole leave because they won't be, they want to be considered exceptional, or they won't take the whole leave because, they don't need it and they're afraid.
Well, whatever. At least they put it out there. And I will say, to agree with you on a level, my husband's got this take all the vacation you want benefit. Okay, you want to ask me after he's been there now a year and a month how much vacation he's taken?
I'll answer that.
Yeah, 0, which is so
that's what
fucking
happens.
annoying.
Without knowing that, I answered it.
You know,
correctly.
and the point of that is the real thing is some little shiny MBA guy came in and said, no, if we do this, when somebody leaves, we don't have to pay them any accrued time. Yay! And that's what it is. So
There's always
wait a minute.
two-sided-
Oh, I know. Oh yeah, this one.
Exactly. That one.
So yeah, you can't search that on this podcast.
Damn, I missed that.
I didn't say the words.
So you mean we can continue giving the finger on podcasts, on video podcasts, until they become searchable, and then we have to stop?
What would we be without
Would they
video?
put a
I
little
can't
black-
imagine this show without video. All you people who are doing audio, you're missing so much. Too
Yeah,
bad.
but we're not Kara Swisher, and Kara Swisher.
And Kara Swisher's not us. Come on, Francine. Give me a break. She can't do this.
Okay,
Maybe
let
she
me
can.
know.
I don't
let
know.
Me know when we're
If she
having
wanted to
Sam
come
on.
If she does, let me know. Maybe she can do this. Maybe Kara can do it all. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Her newest episode of her podcast has this guy who is on $1 Million Listing talking about the real estate market in San Francisco. You should listen to what he says. These tech guys buy these $1 million places, and 5 of them live in them.
Right.
And what they want isn't so much technology, but one guy who bought one wanted an entirely black room that he could have as a sleep and unplug room. I mean, it's hilarious.
God.
And then this guy's a real estate agent. They ask him how to dress, and they ask him for dating tips. It was the cutest interview. You should listen to it. It's a great interview.
I'll have to check that out. That does sound like fun. Okay, ladies. So I think we're pretty close to our hour mark.
We didn't even talk about I Look Like an Engineer.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was kind of big this week.
You want to
we can
do
just mention it.
You want to do a little quickie on that?
Do it.
Well, apparently, so this, I can't remember where she works, this gal who's a software engineer, they did some sort of a campaign in the subways, the BART stations or something, somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in one of the campaigns, and she's rather lovely young woman. And so people just said, well, that's a model, that she's not a real engineer. They hired somebody for this campaign. So she started this Twitter hashtag that to counteract all the people who thought she wasn't an engineer from this campaign. She said, I look like an engineer, the hashtag.
Right.
And she got a few of her friends who are also developers and engineers to also post something, and then it just sort of grew and swelled from there. And then you see all these women of different types and
That
diverse
is so cool.
backgrounds.
Right. A very diverse, picture of what an engineer looks like today, and it is totally a little bit mind blowing and just like, hey, that's cool. Let's show who we are.
I thought it was really neat because even I was surprised as to the diversity, even as women,
Right.
how different they all
Yeah.
were, and it
Right.
was really, really cool to see. And it actually broke my own stereotypes too, I think.
Let's get
See, we have
a
such
link to that on our
stereotypes
page,
in
by
our
the way.
mind.
I already did that.
Oh.
Hallie's on it.
It's right there. I help build
Hallie's on
enterprise software, she says with her sexy smoky eyes and lovely hair. You got to check it out. It's on the page.
All right.
And it's a hashtag, like you said, I look like an engineer.
An engineer.
Okay. Anything else we really have to cover today?
I don't think
Last night of Jon Stewart.
Jon Stewart. That's right.
What was that all about?
And weirdly, on the night of the clown car exhibit of all, sorry, like the 800 GOP guys.
Right. They're trotting them out. And what? There's the A level and the B level in the afternoon.
Yes, exactly.
You know, a very important thing that happened that I saw, Rachel Maddow did a video about this, which is Rick Perry got cut from the you have to be one of the 10 list. But Fox was more than happy to let him spend millions on ads during the program.
Oh, kill me now.
And what it means is we'll see a lot of Rick Perry not fighting with Trump. So maybe
So
you know,
Rick Perry won.
huh?
He won. He basically won.
In a way, I think it is the way to win.
He got into the time slot without having to actually converse back and forth with anybody.
Right, and just think you control all the message and what it looks like, and you're not going "Hurrah!" at somebody. You know,
that sucks so completely. I can't believe it. I mean, that just blows.
To me, it's like as far how completely screwed democracy has become.
Oh,
it could go lower, and that proves how much lower. All you have to do is pay for the ads, and then you get to have the ear of the voter or
Shades
eyes.
of News Gang Live.
Hasn't it always been that way?
Yes.
Come on.
But when Fox is deciding,
you got a lot of dough. You get on the airwaves, and you say what you want.
Creepy. If Fox
but when you get into the editorial, by buying ads on the editorial, supposedly.
Oh my God, I see us devolving into the GOP right now. This is not good. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Throw up the logo. It's the only way
logo
to
time.
Up.
It is time to go. Lovely ladies.
I am pissed.
That's right. We got a hard stop, I think.
Yeah, but I'm so pissed I'd go on.
Rebecca, I do want to hear, how did the kiteboard racing go?
Oh, it was great. I was on the race committee boat for Saturday and Sunday. It was a long day. Each day, it was a total of 12 or 13 hours, and so I still felt like a boat afterwards.
Wow.
But I took recordings of the finish line finishers, and so I got to have an upfront look at who won and all the cool action on the water. My guy, Hantos, he had great qualifying races, and he made the Gold Fleet. He had a rough
I love how
day.
you call him my guy. I think
my
that's
guy.
So neat that you call him your guy.
He's my guy. His first really big race like this on all new equipment, and he finished 26 out of 70 racers, the best in the world. So super proud of him.
Fabulous.
And it was really, really fun. So really great event. And thanks for asking about it.
Yeah, well, thanks for giving us our little tutorial last week. If you guys missed that, you should go back to the end of the show last week, and Rebecca shows us kiteboarding 101. So that was fun.
All the advanced technology in kiteboarding. You should see my house now. We've grown from one foil to 3 foils, hydrofoils, and there's just hydrofoils everywhere.
Hey girl, you need a bigger house. Okay.
I can find you a realtor.
Do that on audio.
Yeah, find me a realtor.
You can't do that on audio. You got that right, Hallie. I heard that. Okay. So I'd like to thank Ustream. We're using Ustream's platform to stream live and record G3, otherwise known as the Gilmore Girls Gang. Okay. And I'd like to thank NewTek and their lovely TriCaster. I'm so honored to be able to push these buttons and sometimes learn new things. Not enough.
Right.
Thank you so much to my lovely co-host, my lovely, smart, intelligent, and interesting co-host, Rebecca Woodcock.
Ah, shucks.
Hallie Sue Tucker. And Francine Hardaway.
Aww.
Thank you again for being here. It's always such a pleasure and delight to talk with you all about what we about what we live and breathe. So it's easy and it's fun. I'm hoping that we'll see you again next. Ooh, actually, you know what? I'm not sure we're doing a show this coming week.
Right.
So let's say we're going to meet back here. I think it's on the 19th. I think it's the 20th. The 20th or 21st.
That's helpful for people who want to follow the show.
What's that?
I said that's helpful for people who want to follow the show.
Well, you know,
this lady's traveling, right? Aren't you traveling?
Yeah. Well, we might do a show. We'll talk about that off the air. Okay. So thank you all. Thank you all for being here, and let's get our logo ready, and let's say bye-bye.
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 All right.